Alright, fellow media minions, you wonderful Marvel movie jockeys out there. Welcome to my Captain Marvel review, but before I start, I would just like to be real for a second, or at least a while. I've noticed that I've only just finished my review now, in terms of writing it, and I'm going to express it. When I was watching other reviewers on Captain Marvel, there was something that I noticed that not many people have done. Think of the person that Marvel has only recently just lost. Stan Lee. Now, I'm going to be real here for a second. For those of you that did not think it was, respectful or even good, kind, considerate, or at least nice to actually pay a small tribute to him, even if it's just an RIP Stan, right, in your video, which I've not noticed pretty much hardly any of these big reviewers do, I'm actually going to choose not to say nothing to that, because I don't want to come across like I'm roasting many people just for that specific reason, even though I feel very much inclined to, considering the fact that he was a Marvel Titan, for goodness sake. So if any of you haven't really noticed the fact that many of these big reviewers, or any other reviewers who haven't done this, I'm choosing not to say anything to them either, in the terms of the fact of me being aggressive or coming across as rude. So, Stan Lee, here's my wonderful little mini tribute to you before I start Captain Marvel. Maybe have a moment of silence for them, Stan the Man Lee. Okay, here it is at long last for those who want to have another female and hot pants to actually have sexual fantasies about. Also, not to mention that Brie Larson is on everybody's SJW hit list. Yeah, that's always something for somebody. I'm looking at you, Agent 47. One thing I should point out that you should know about this movie before you go in is that it contains scrolls. So if you go into the movie arena, start throwing knives at the bloody movie theatre screen and watching those daggers fall, it'll probably make you uproar and echo like a battle-spired Redguard from your small local town of Morrowind, not knowing whether it'll blow your mind into an oblivion or not. Then let the experience begin. Let's dive in then to what many would like to call Captain SJW. I mean Captain Feminist, smoking deep gunge feminism. Sorry, I mean Captain Marvel.
Asses.
If there was anything marvellous about this movie, it was not the way the trailers depicted it, which by the way threw me off guard, universally speaking here. I was shocked how within the first few seconds before the movie began, Marvel Studios gained a huge amount of heartfelt praise with the opening intro sequence. Much respect from me, and I tip my hat to Marvel for what they did. During the candy-eating, eye-focusing experience of having our hero Carol Danvers enter to the screen, I immediately saw a character that reminded me of an extremely terrible movie. Dragon Ball Evolution, of course. Considering that the shape-shifting cabbages on legs closely resemble Piccolo from Dragon Ball Fail Evolution, that pretty much almost made me laugh. The movie pacing was pretty much A, B, C accurate and easy to follow. A, being a good start with the memory games to Carol's past. B, a nice middle which was not overly done, as by this point I was wanting to see more, see where the plot is heading. And C, a fine and simple end. Simple, yet effective. The plot was much of an interesting way to revolve around the history and beginning of Carol Danvers, with what follows during the journey of Carol's life being in outer space, somewhere amongst the stars. I couldn't help but notice that Carol Danvers was not boring. I personally love a woman with some form of wit, and this movie is not shy to show that Carol herself has a sense of humour. One thing you should know about this movie that is this statement: not everything is as it seems. I went into the cinema hoping this movie will be good, hence why I purchased a ticket, of course, otherwise I'd just be wasting my money. And lo and behold, I was correct. To an extent, yes. Captain Marvel had me on the edge of my seat with enjoyment in various sectors of the movie, as opposed to overall enjoyment, which I'm very surprised at personally. There was quite a few things I rather enjoyed noticing on screen. One of them being this amazing store, nostalgia right there, and not to mention the amazing presence of what is my most favourite hobby of all time, video games. I was totally not expecting to see more than just one cameo from any video game system, but when I did, it was glorious. There were 3 other films from the NCU, which I will note, that did this. The first being in The Avengers, second being in Black Panther, showing us the 16-bit legendary masterpiece Super Nintendo Entertainment System, and now Captain Marvel. Thank you MCU for those 2. Any of you watching this science buffs? Because the chemistry in this movie between Captain Marvel and the young Nick Fury is pretty cool. Keeping it simple and basic rather than going on too much and suddenly they love each other like foster brother and sister, which would have been a WTF moment to that and destroyed the entire movie. But I was rather satisfied with how they became to be allies and pretty much answered my questions with how they met. MCU Easter eggs were fun to notice, which one I think I enjoyed looking out for. Not only names, but also visual faces, along with things that we've already been introduced to with the previous Marvel films. Being trained by the Kree to show some awesome kung fu is always a help in combat, of course. Not to mention that you are at loggerheads with an elder shape-shifting Skrulls across the Galaxy District. Best to keep on your guard, I suppose. The movie is by no means perfect, and yet the movie's music was forgetful to me, which is unfortunate. I love a movie with good music, which enhances my immersion of enjoyment, makes me want to shout out and roar inside and out in my physical flesh. This movie falls short of that, I'm afraid. I was not really hyped that much regarding the plot, with it being an origin story that does not appeal to me or sends out messages for myself that I can relate to, or at least say, that's just awesome. I love that. With this movie feeling more of a sci-fi adventure over a down-to-earth flick that had me rooting for Carol, I just sat there and enjoyed what I could regarding how she became this super-powered being with other people by her side. Also, this movie actually felt like a movie from the video game series Halo, along with Ace Combat, and not to mention a tiny bit of Star Wars as well. Hence the reason why I said it feels like a sci-fi film. Don't get me wrong, oh no, by any stretch of the imagination, I did enjoy the film, but it was not one that had me feeling any positivity too much, and was just below par with giving me negative vibes, which is good because I hate boring films. I felt it was a tiny bit bland at times, but not boring. What I have seen and witnessed in Captain Marvel is not really anything new to me plot-wise. The supporting cast was a nice touch to add sentimental attachment. Carol's fellow good best friend and pilot chum was to Carol what food is to a starving person. It was good to see and feel real friendship in this movie, for one, that is. The movie with the amazing visuals, that was actually a pretty good plus. I actually enjoyed the visualization of what was being given to all of us in the cinema, because I felt like it was not overly done. Overall, I enjoyed Captain Marvel, yes, but it wasn't the best MCU movie for me, but it is watchable. I have seen it twice now, and on the second viewing, I did not waver towards negativity. A notable lovable character is the cat, with whom Fury loves to play with. Yeah, playing with your pussy, Fury. I meant that as a terminology of the cat. Thank you for watching my Captain Marvel review. I hope you enjoyed it. Hope it was a bit informative, somewhat entertaining, which I don't think it would have been. Right, welcome to the afterthought. I never really do this that much, but considering the fact there was a massive SJW political agenda surrounding Brie Larson and her opinions of white men not had to watch this film or some mongoose crazy rubbish like that, right? At the end of the day, it's a movie, right? Movies have been in existence for decades, a very long time, you know. It's just like saying that this movie isn't for white men. That doesn't make any sense. You can actually say the same regarding the Black Panther film. That movie's to a specific, you know, how do you say, crowd. Very much I loved it. One of my favourite MCU films. Absolutely loved it. The only people it wouldn't be catered to would be racists. Those stupid moronic idiots who don't like black people. There you go. I said it. I really don't understand what Brie Larson meant by this movie might not be for white men. Considering that after watching it, I didn't really see any SJW agendaed rubbish in there. I thought the film was alright. I understand that Brie Larson has her opinions and this and this and that, but I don't really care about it, to be honest. I just watched it and thought, nah, whatever. Everyone has their own opinions. Yep, she's getting extremely flabbergastedly downgraded in the media, probably even by people in the MCU themselves, and pretty much everyone else on Earth. I don't care. I am no, in way, shape, or form, an SJW myself, right? I don't believe in all the SJW stuff. I don't really care about it. I just wanted to wait for this next movie to see what it's about and to see what the MCU leads from here. That's all I cared about. Brie Larson and her opinions, that doesn't mean anything to me. I don't know her. I don't really relate to all this SJW political rubbish or nonsense. So I'm not going to behave like an extremely world breaker Hulk type person for no reason. I ain't got nothing to say to it. All I will say to that is that everything that surrounding Brie Larson right now didn't really make me feel any different about the film. I saw it twice. And I saw the first Avengers film once. And for some reason I actually saw this twice, just to make sure that I feel that this movie wasn't exactly all that bad, which it wasn't. It was actually alright. So, thank you very much for watching. Hope you have a lovely day. Hope you have a wonderful evening, wherever you may be on Earth, right? If you could be so kindly, every single one of you, to make some breakfast. You know, some sausage, beans and chips, and some broccoli would do nicely. Maybe some potato chips also. Some French fries. I love those. Barbecue sauce, sausage, bacon, double egg, beans and tomatoes, to be just to make sure. Mushrooms, black pudding, and chips. 3 cups of teas, 10 slices of bread, 15 pieces of toasted sliced bread, and Oh, and as a drink, I'll have a large drambu of lime with topped up soda, lots of ice, a slice of lemon, a little cherry on the top. Okay, thank you very much.